With us are two people that help teach people how to do it right. Clint Smith is president and director of Thunder Ranch. He's a Marine Corps veteran of 2 infantry and combined action platoon tours in Vietnam. His experience includes 7 years as a police officer, during which he served the head of firearms training division, as well as being a SWAT member and a precision rifleman. He left law enforcement to serve as the operations officer for the American Pistol Institute, otherwise known as Gunsight, here in Arizona. And he eventually started in 1986. He served as training director for Heckler & Koch. And in 1993, he opened Thunder Ranch, which is now in eastern Oregon. And also with him is his wife, Heidi. And Heidi, I'm sorry I didn't get a bio on you, so I don't know originally where you're from and what your experience is.
I was born and raised in Seattle. Hi, Charles.
Hi.
I was born and raised in Seattle. I became a firearms instructor for the state of Washington in 1990. And my mom and I started ladies' personal defense, a small school that we had in Washington State, working with ladies-only classes in firearms orientation for years, and eventually got hired on at Thunder Ranch in 95. And I'm married to Clint now after 11 years, and that's kind of the rest of the story.
Wow. As Paul Harvey said, the rest of the story.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's a nice completion. Folks, it's a joy, an honor, and a privilege to welcome both of you to the microphones and telephones of America Armed and Free.
We appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time for us.
It's my pleasure, Clint. You know, this is the first time I've ever spoken to you. I didn't get a chance to, seeing as how I did have the pleasure of speaking to Heidi and arranging this interview, but never to you. Do you know how many times in the last 15 years of teaching the Arizona Concealed Weapons Permit class I've said with attribution, if you look like food, you will be eaten?
That's an old one. They have, some people call them Clintisms. I never call them that, but you know, there's just a lot of stuff where we would like to have people think about what's going on logically. You know, ultimately in the end, the school is not about teaching people to shoot. It's about teaching people to be smart. And then if you have to shoot, which sometimes we have no other choice, then we'd like for them to shoot well with the least number of rounds possible, kind of because of the litigation thing. And it's okay. We don't mind that. You know, when they go, well, the lawyers, and it's okay. It's part of the system. You know what I mean? And we just want people to make wise decisions if it comes to protecting themselves and their family.
Not only the litigation, but the price of ammunition today. Shooting people is getting...
get away with the pray and spray mode anymore.
Right. Shooting people is getting really expensive, Clint.
Right. Yeah. It's better to shoot really good because, you know, it's true. But, you know, we joke about it at the same time. We'd like to put a lot of energy into practice because probably the more that they practice, the less likely they are to have to actually use it. It's a lot like... I couldn't say it's a lot like a spare tire. You know, you have one, but when's the last time you had a flat? And somebody will go, well, today, yeah, but you're pretty rare. Most of us carry them around in the car. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of that thing. I have it. I'd like to be, you know, skilled with it, but I would rather not shoot somebody if I didn't have to. That would be my preference, but I'm getting old, so I think that's part of maybe being smarter is getting older. So.
Unfortunately, I happen to be wearing my spare.
Yeah, right.
Now, I want to, before we get into the great depths of this, Clint and Heidi Smith, on Foundation, I noticed something about the way you present things that's not usually associated with firearms training, especially by people who don't understand us, who don't understand what we are. All right. When I say we, I'm not saying I'm a great firearms instructor like you. When I'm saying
I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
But I'm for the audience. I'm not thumping my own chest. What I'm saying is to understand what people we lovingly call ourselves the sheepdogs,
right,
as opposed to the sheeple, the people who are what John Farnham calls VBCs, victims by choice.
Right.
And that something is that what comes across. As soon as you look at your website and you understand answers like the one you just gave me about we try and want people to be smart, not just to be good shots, but to act in a way that's smart, what comes across is a sense of loving kindness, even though what you teach is a deadly art. Now, why is it, and I don't care which one of you answers it, why is it the sense that people get when they listen to you in person is one of loving kindness rather than shooting people? Why is that?
I think for us, you know, Clint and I, we do run a business, but we're very, very lucky that Clint has something that he tells all of our students, that when the class is over and we've done graduation, the relationship has just begun. It hasn't ended. And we really do, you know, care about the students. And that they don't have to use this skill that we would like them to have and to do well, but we don't want them to use it, and that we care about their lives in the big picture. I think, I don't know, it's attraction, not promotion, and I think you try to treat others like you would be treated, and that goes back a long ways. That's not something we created. I think we're really lucky that we love what we do, and I think that makes it really easy, Charles, to have that type of attitude.
So, just like I was saying with the last guest, do what you love, and it won't be work.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
I'm pretty lucky if you think about it. I've got to do what I wanted to do all my adult life, which most people can't say. And I've never had a job that I didn't like. You know what I mean? So this for us, when we started our own business actually in '83, and I was on the road from '83 to '93, and then '93 we opened Texas, and then in 2004 Heidi and I moved it to Oregon. And you know, prior to that, being a policeman, I didn't mind at all. My dad was a cop, and my brother was a cop, and my uncle was a cop. So when I came back from Vietnam, it was just appropriate that we did it. So I've been very fortunate that people support us over the years. You know, we have a real high return rate, and it's like you, we're not dumping ourselves on the chest or being braggers.
You're just talking about what you do.
Yeah, we actually, you know, care about people. I'm not taking the planet to raise. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I care about the people that we have, and you know, if they put an interest in what they're doing, then you know we try to support that, and I think it works in both directions.
Do you remember the old series, The Guns of Will Sunnett?
Actually,
with Walter Brennan.
I don't remember. Sorry.
There's an old program called The Guns of Will Sunnett, and it starred Walter Brennan, and he had Walter Brennan and his grandson. I don't remember who played the grandson. Right. But Walter Brennan used to say, no